Good evening, YouTube. Derek here, Hardball Crazy, come back with a video. Today I'm going to talk about a player that might be a little better than you think he actually is. I'm going to put it on my heading of my series, Uncommon Commons, because most of his cards are common-wise in the vintage era. But he's a kind of a Hall of Famer, just not a Cooperstown Hall of Famer, but he is a Hall of Famer. He is a barrier breaker, so his name is probably known if you're a fan of the Negro Leagues. The player is Bob Thurman. This is 57 Topps rookie card with the Cincinnati Redlegs. To go along with this Bob Thurman card, rookie card, you know, if you're a long-time listener, watcher of my channel, you know I love the regional rookie cards, rookie year cards, because they add a little flavor to everything. So I recently picked up this Bob Thurman, my first 50 Cons Wieners card, a 57 Cons Wiener of Mr. Bob Thurman. Very happy to add this card to my collection, and I'm becoming more of a Bob Thurman fan and a Bob Thurman collector. I am looking for his pre-rookie cards. He's got a Mother's Day Pacific Coast League card. I'm looking for some Winter League cards of him. But more on Bob Thurman. His career. As you probably know, I always think of players who kind of obviously went from Negro Leagues to AL, NL, who kind of started their AL, NL career a little later than normal, who actually played several years. I'm thinking mostly of like Sam Jethro or Luke Easter, who had stellar years, but kind of tailed off quickly. They debuted like at age 31, 32 seasons or so. I'm excluding the players like Artie Wilson, Willard Brown, or Quincy Troop, who are Negro League All-Stars, legends, but they only had very, very, very briefly stints in the AL, NL. Guys who actually played several years, like Thurman here, Easter, and Jethro, for example. What separates Thurman from Jethro and Easter is that Thurman didn't get started into the National League till the age 38 season. Imagine not be able to play until your age 38 season. He has a couple of really good, solid seasons, but he was mostly used as a pinch hitter, guy off the bench, backup type player. So he didn't accumulate a lot of great stats, but he did have, when he did, he hit a lot of home runs. If you look at his career home runs to at bat ratio, it's pretty solid, especially the one season where he has 15 home runs and about 200 at bats or something along those lines. But he also had a great arm. When he played the outfield, he hit over his NL career. He played about 5 years or so, starting age 38 season, mind you. He played 150-ish games or so. He had like 17 career assists in the outfield, so he had a candidate for an arm. A little bit down later. He had a career OPS plus. That's you take the OPS, offense, on base plus slugging, and you use it for ballpark, taking ballpark factors and error and stuff like that. So 100 is your average player. 115 if it was a 115 OPS plus, that means it's basically 15% better than the average player. That was Bob Thurman in the National League. So even at age 38 season, he was still a better than average ball player with the Cincinnati Reds. And it started at age 38, and this is before expansion too, so he had a lot more competition. That's how good Bob Thurman was. But that's not the whole story of Bob Thurman. He did play the Negro Leagues for a while, very briefly. He's one of those players who are his career is kind of fragmented over several countries and several leagues, so he never got the recognition that he deserves. Quincy Troop is another example of this. Some other players who may play in different countries and several seasons at a time here and there. He played in a Dominican Summer League, newly established, but he got his notoriety, his fame, in the Puerto Rican Winter Leagues. He played the same. If you are familiar, if you're a Berto Clemente fan, if you're familiar with the name Santurce, Puerto Rican Winter League team, he played on that team. He was a fellow teammate of Willard Brown. Willard Brown was such a huge star down there. They nicknamed him El Hombre, the man. And he won a couple triple crowns. Brown won a couple triple crowns in the Puerto Rican Winter League. But Bob Thurman here was his teammate in the outfield. Brown was more of the outgoing guy. Thurman was kind of the man in the shadow, so he didn't get a lot of recognition. But Thurman ended his career in the Puerto Rican League as the all-time leader in home runs and RBIs, and finished in the top 5-10 of pretty much many other offensive categories. And Bob Thurman is a legend in the Puerto Rican Winter League, being the all-time home run RBI leader. And he was inducted in the Puerto Rican Winter League Hall of Fame, and he was in the first class. So when you look at a baseball Hall of Fames or any Hall of Fames, I guess in that matter, I always like to see who's in the first class. That means they're the biggest of the big stars, the goats of the goats, the guys who are the best of the best. And Bob Thurman was part of the first class of the Puerto Rican Baseball Hall of Fame. One other thing about Mr. Bob Thurman, it's like I said, he had a cannon for an arm playing for Santurce. Well, Willard Brown played center field, and he played right field. Even when Roberto Clemente joined the Santurce team, we all know about how great an arm that the Clemente had. Well, guess what? Clemente did not supplant Thurman in right field. Thurman held his own in right field, and Clemente played left field. Yes, Thurman had that good of an arm. Oh, also one other thing forgot to mention. While in the Puerto Rican Winter League, he actually pitched a few games too. It wasn't, I don't think, a full-time starter, but he got the nickname of the Owl because he had a knack of winning night games. He had a decent record, but he was a good pitcher. But obviously the bat when fielding made him a star and an elite player. There you have it. That's the story of Bob Thurman, a common you might see in the vintage era, in the vintage boxes. And you nobody know him being a former Negro Leaguer if you know your Negro League history. But you know what? He is so much more of a legend than he actually was. He's an common Hall of Famer. So when you think of him playing in the Cincinnati Reds in the National League, he didn't debut until age 38. So the guys who you think of now are just winding down. He's just starting, and he played and he held his own for several years. There you have it. That's the career of Bob Thurman. Hope you enjoyed the video, and all have a good night.